There's been so much controversy about the new 2020 Toyota Supra, especially with respect to styling, like all the fake vents and stuff. What if Toyota actually made the Toyota Supra that we all wanted? So you know what? I went to Instagram and there's a ton of really cool renders on Instagram, and I pulled up the best one, and that's what we're gonna talk about in this video. This first set of renders is from Nick Pacione, and this was actually shot at Toyota Studios. So the car is real, this is real photography, but the car has been placed into a 3D environment. And Isaac Murray was the guy who created the 3D environment. So the first one here is in this white room. Really reminds me of the movie 2001. I know a lot of you probably are too young to have seen that movie, but it's super cool, super iconic, and that's what it reminds me of. I think the red and the white contrast really show off the car. You can see the wheels here. You can kind of see the design lines. You can kind of see what's going on in the door. And this 3/4 angle I really like. I think it really shows the aggressiveness of the car. So this is a 3D room, again, that Isaac Murray rendered. And what they did was they rendered the room, and then you can see these reflections of the room in the car on the hood and on the windscreen and so forth. And here's another 3/4 angle that I really like. You can see the LEDs in the back are kind of pumped up a little bit. I like the amount of glossiness that this red has. I think it's really cool. This is one of the launch edition colors, by the way. So this is a separate room. This was actually rendered in Photoshop. Again, we've got real photography, but the car itself, of course, is real, but the room, this one is made in Photoshop, and the 3D environment is made in Photoshop as well, unlike the last one. And here's another shot of the rear of the car. So cool. I think these guys put so much effort into it. This is a thing for Auto Week. And if you ever wondered what the car looks like inside and maybe driving at night, we haven't seen that. This, I think, is the best impression of what the car looks like at night. It's actually pretty driver focused. Again, I know there's been a lot of complaints about the car not having that jet style cockpit sort of angling towards the driver, but this is what it is. I've sat in it. I think it's very non-distracting. I think it's very simple and clean, and I really like it. The next Instagram artist is FMP Nick, and he started with the base Supra, and he does everything in Photoshop. These are not actually renders. And so looking at the next one here in yellow, what Nick told me is that he's trying to keep everything stock looking and fairly realistic. So you can see there's some significant differences between the original stock one and this. We've got a completely different grille up front. On the fenders, we have this little black element over here by the hood, and down on the bottom, we've got this piece, which looks like it might be carbon fiber perhaps, coming from the fender and turning, going down along the side of the car too. But the main difference is, of course, the door is kind of different on this thing. It doesn't really have that fake vent, and it has much bigger rear fenders, and of course that classic Supra TRD style wing. And then looking at the red one here, also pretty similar, slightly different treatment for this. The nose is a little bit different. It doesn't have the fender pieces that the yellow one does, and I think he's doing a really nice job of kind of keeping the whole thing realistic looking. Flat Hat 3D, you've probably seen him. He's really prolific. He has got a studio based in Taiwan, and what he said about the A90 concept here is that he's trying to find some A80 vibes on the A90, and what he's done is he's taken some elements from the A80 and updated them and make them more modern. He's got TE37 wheels on this particular yellow one too, and it's got this huge TRD style wing on the back. Here are the taillight elements that he really liked from the A80, and he sort of made them more modern, made them LED, put them in this composition here. I think this is like looking pretty darn good to me. Let me know what you think below. So he wanted to put this wing on, and he needed to start with the trunk. So he's got the OEM style duckbill here, but what he did is he started this is all in 3D, of course, and then he flattened it out so that he could put the spoiler on, rather the rear wing, excuse me. And of course, this image has been floating around too. This is a 2JZ inside the body of a stock A90 Supra. I like it. It's going to be a little bit heavy, but let me know what you think. This is certainly going to be happening pretty soon on YouTube as soon as this car is available. Here's another look at the rear wing, this treatment that he's got here. He's got this duckbill type spoiler. He's got a black, like a carbon fiber type piece on top of it. And then the blue car looks a little bit like the duckbill, a little bit flatter. Here's another angle of that car. Sorry, this one isn't in high res. I did this after he sent me the high res photo, so my apologies. Here's the lower style, the flatter style duckbill on the back. Here it is from the top, and here's another angle from the top of the car. So he said he was inspired by the S2000 hardtop because of course there's no room for the wing to put a TRD wing on there, so he had to make this sort of flatter style spoiler. I've got a link to all these renders down below and their Instagram, and of course go ahead and follow me on Instagram. I'm pulling up these renders for you every single day. Options Auto Salon has done a render in this nice gray color, and I think the biggest difference here obviously is this massive wing that he's got going on in the back. Not quite photorealistic, I'm not quite sure how that fits in, and the car does look a little bit wider too. The rear fenders look a little bit wider, and it looks like he's got some TE37 wheels on it. Rainprisk has this interesting render, which the car appears to be sort of lower and wider than the OEM car. He's got these wheels on it with the white sidewalls. Not really a huge fan of that. I think it's kind of a little bit tacky to have wheels like that. Reminds me of the Devil 16. Anyways, kind of a cool render of the car. At the back, now this is something that is completely different. We've got the shooting brake style here. I kind of like it, but it definitely doesn't say Supra to me anymore. This doesn't look like any kind of Supra I've ever seen, but I'm not completely averse to it. I kind of like that style. And then we've got a mid-engine render that he just put up a couple days ago. It looks very NSX-like to me. It really, to me, again, it's cool, but it sort of lost the essence of what I think the Supra is. I'm not trying to say anything bad about these renders. I think Rainprisk is a talented artist. I think all these people are talented artists, so please don't give them any hate on Instagram. They were gracious enough to give me the rights to these photos so that I could use them in this video. Sketch Monkey has done a job here which takes some of the elements of the FT1 concept car, especially the nose. You can see the huge difference in the nose here. This front piece going down, this sort of round piece over here, and a little bit of the Mark IV too, with a much simpler style grille. And then we got a wing on the back, which is a little bit different than the duckbill design also. This render is from CCW. They make wheels. These are CCW wheels rendered onto the car in this sort of British racing green, which actually I really like. Let me know what you think of the wheels down below. Another render from CCW. This is the CCW wheels on the Supra. These are in red, kind of accenting the mirrors that come with the launch edition, which are also red, and some silver wheels. This is the GR Toyota Gazoo Racing Supra with ADV1 wheels on it. Obviously this car is looking a whole lot more aggressive than the street car. Here's ADV1 wheels again with a blue. I don't know that that's actually the blue that is going to come on the Supra. Interesting treatment with the gold wheels. Here we've got a different set of gold wheels on the red car, and finally the gold wheels on the gray, the matte gray car. This is the actual car in red by the TRD office in California, and it's got HRE wheels on it. The red looks really shiny. I'm actually kind of digging it outside. I saw it in person at the auto show, but here it is in red. This is the official pace car. It's got a light bar on top, and it's got some LEDs in the front grille, and there's another angle from the back. Just a super good looking car in red. And thanks to my buddy Drew for capturing these. If you want early access to my videos and discounts on merchandise, I've got a Patreon. I'm gonna link it down below, and I'd like to thank my Patreons, Furious Grommel, Real Six, Squirrel Pope, and all the people listed on the screen. If you want to learn about the engine in the Supra, I've got a card right up here, and I've also got some more Supra content at the end of the video. See you in the next one.